Yeah. Hey, what's up, Fitnesspreneurs, Life Nation? This is Vito LaFata here with.
Scott Rawcliffe from Social Media Marketing Muscle.
Yeah. So listen, I'm lucky because my man here flew in from Australia, and you were in here. What were you doing? Speaking over at Turbulence Trainer.
Yeah, speaking over in Denver at Turbulence Training Summit.
Nice. What were you talking about down there?
So my topic was how to create the perfect Facebook ad. So it was.
That's a key topic that I think everybody's interested in right now.
Definitely.
How did that whole thing go?
Went really well. We went really well. We got some real, just kind of. I touched on a lot of the issues or the common mistakes, and kind of that's what we're talking about today that people make when they try to create their ads.
Yeah. So here's what we decided when we were hanging out on a little poolside. We're gonna grab a little bit of wine. So cheers to you and the mission that you're out there doing, trying to help people get fit and healthy. But we were talking about social media and the common struggles and frustrations that people are having on social media today. And we were sitting there being like, well, it's this and this and this, and we decided to be like, why don't we just go live and share a little bit about what we were talking about, and especially because I got my main man here who runs all of our Facebook ads. He helps manage everything we got going on, so he's kind of like my dude when it comes to Facebook ads and whatnot. That I'm like, you know what? It's very rare that we get a chance to do a duo live, so we're going to come at you with this. I don't know how many we got. We got a bunch here. We'll see what we get through, and we'll have some fun with it. So, number one that you've experienced out there when you are, because you're in the trenches every day helping studios and trainers get their stuff on Facebook, what's the number one thing that you're really seeing out there?
Probably the biggest mistake I see when they come in and we've taken a look at what they're doing is, and this is, I mean, gosh, it's probably at least 90%, if
Ooh.
not higher than that. They're just copying. They're just taking, it's the same message. There's nothing that differentiates it. So it's literally like, I mean, think of like 18 months ago. If you were doing any marketing 18 months ago, probably you would have done this ad. Huge opportunity and all bold, you know, must meet the following criteria, and I mean, I'm sure there's
so like, right, because everyone is out there kind of putting out the same ad, whether it's just like a body transformation or a 7-day program, and it's the same offer, typically a class or a free trial or some sort of short-term feeder program.
It's, I mean, if I were to sum it up, it'd be like, hey, we got this new 21-day program happening. If you want to lose weight, get in shape, feel great, click this link below. And I mean, 2 years ago, there wasn't as many people doing
that, so it was
marketing.
crushing it.
Now everyone's doing Facebook marketing. So if you think about, you know, as the consumer, if they're seeing like 5, 6 studios run the same ad at the same time for the same program, how are they going to choose?
Right, and I mean, so if we scale that back a second, why does that stuff kind of happen? It's because you hear that, you know what, this is working for some studios. It worked early on. People got results with it. Then you hear that it's getting results, and you're like, I'm going to run it too. And I'm going to go out there and put the same ad out. And all of a sudden, the market starts seeing the same ad, the same ad, the same ad, the same ad, and conversions start going off the backside.
Or, this is what I get a lot too, is that people will say, well, you know, this other studio is running a Facebook ad that must be successful.
Right.
But, I mean, just because they're running it, like anyone can run an ad.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the wrong way to look at it, just because someone else is running it, or you're like, wow, I've seen this ad for a month, they must be crushing it. Well, no, that's not at all the case.
So if going out there and not doing the same, I remember when Dan Kennedy once shared with us, where he's just like, hey, if your market's all doing one thing, go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Go the opposite way, because in all likelihood, it's just not going to be converting anymore, or honestly, they often don't know what they're doing with that marketing. So what's one solution that you give them if you're like, hey, your ad copy is the same shit I'm seeing everywhere? How do you go in and tackle that?
It's probably the easiest change straight away. Like if you're just running, if there's no kind of rhyme or reason behind why you're doing a 21-day as opposed to 28-day, that sort of thing, the simplest thing to do is if you see a lot of people running a 21-day, do a 28-day. Right?
Okay.
Just increase. I mean, just to distinguish, like what you're saying. If everyone's doing this, just do something different. Just make it a little bit different, so the offer might seem a little bit different. I mean, you could do that in 6 seconds. But if you wanted to change up the copy, I mean, that's going to make a bigger difference. But that's the first thing. If everyone's running the same duration, just switch out the duration of it straight away.
Okay, so easy change is something like just changing the duration. If I would say go even a little bit more distinct with that, change up the offer completely and try to come out with something different, because everyone's going body transformation, and at that point you're just starting to look the same as everybody else. And the problem with that is then everyone is competing on price, and that's going to be a problem when you're starting to try to build profit into your business, not just get bodies in. So we got generic ad copy or the same offer being made everywhere. Mistake or frustration number 1. Let's hit frustration number 2. What do you got?
I wouldn't. I don't.
I got them if you don't got them.
I was like, I wouldn't call this a frustration, but this is when we were just going actually with Anna today.
Anna's my wife, host of Pop Sugar Fitness. You don't know. She tries to glom on to my Facebook guy to get a little extra help when he's in town. This is what happens.
It worked. But she made us breakfast, so I mean, I figured.
Blueberry pancakes, no less, baby. Yeah. Blueberry pancakes.
Was we worked on the image. So if you think how most people actually look on there, like, so here, and I actually said this to Anna, I'm like, next time you're at Starbucks, just watch what people do, and they do this on their phone. Just scroll. So like, how can you capture people's attention with that image? Because the image is huge. Like, that's what's going to get people's attention. So take a look at what's already on there. Like, what are people sharing? So 2 little kind of tips that we gave her was, 1, we took a picture that she was already using. She had some semi-colorful clothes on. So what we did is we made the whole thing black and white, and then just put her body as color.
I like that.
Kind of punched out. We put a little headline to the side and made that like a pink color because that matched her brand. So it jumped out because everything was kind of black, and it made it stand out a bit more.
Ooh, so let's hit on something on there that I want you guys to pick up on. So hopefully you've figured out some brand colors for your brand. So Anna's has got like, I don't know if, is it a hot pink, Anna? Is it a what? It's like a hot pink type thing. We're not talking like Spud McKenzie pink. Remember those freaking days and whatnot? I can't believe I can actually pull that out of nowhere, Spud McKenzie. If you know what that is, comment below. I might send you a free freaking gift or something if you freaking know Spud McKenzie. Matt Stoker, I know you know it. Don't answer.
Bonus point if they know what Spud McKenzie was.
A rep of. Yeah. A rep of. Yeah. Absolutely. Even better. But so taking like the photo and making it black and white and then dropping your brand color, like for Anna's pink, that's smart because it creates consistency of the person knowing your brand. So when they land somewhere, they're like, this feels familiar. Because if they end up on Anna's website or something like that, or on her Facebook pages, they're gonna be like, oh, I see this color, I know I'm home. So a little extra freaking branding tip for you there. So we've got spice up the images and the headlines.
But here's another way. Another way you can like spice up your image really easily is we usually use PicMonkey or Canva. They're both free, super easy. Take that picture or that image and increase the contrast to about 20 or 30. So it's gonna stay at 0. It makes that image pop a little bit more.
Okay.
It just and some it'll make a much bigger difference than others, but it'll just make that image just kind of stand out a little bit more. Especially like with one of Anna's, it was just basically her with a white background, and it really made it kind of push out a little bit more. So it really depends on the image, but if you do that to any image, it's going to make it pop a little bit more.
So you adjust the contrast about 20% more?
You just go, so contrast, typically we go from...
Kim, if you're on here, you need to be writing this down and be doing this for our freaking images, Kim.
So it's about 0 to 100, and then you just go to about 20 or 30. Typically after 30, it gets a little bit too much. It almost looks like someone's maybe been in the tanning salon a few too many times, and it just looks a bit unnatural, but about 20 to 30
Unless you live in Cali and it's natural, my friends. Natural in Cali. Okay, so we got some stuff on images and whatnot. One of the biggest things that I see out there is not actually having any plan. No plan for a content marketing strategy, as in like, I don't think about, so if I'm going to put this offer out, maybe I should start leading with some content that makes sense to tee up the offer that I have coming up, so that it's almost like in the mind of your clients or your prospects, the conversation that they should be having in their head, so that by the time you get to that offer, they're like, oh my God, it's like we've been talking about these struggles, these frustrations, or this, whatever the thing is that you're going to be making an offer for. You don't lead up to it. Instead, it's just right to offer, instead of creating the conversation that needs to take place in their head so that you can give them a reason to take a look at that offer. What do you got on that?
1,000%. We see that with our clients. Like, if they've not been putting out much content beforehand, it's always, once we start to put out that content, there's always a massive difference in the amount of leads and everything we get from there. And especially in a more competitive, like if you're in LA right now, if you had your gym right now, like, you would struggle if you just put out ads just to your program and that's it, and you never put any content behind it. Like, it's...
Well, back to everybody does that. So it's white noise, it's whitewashed, it's not even, people don't react to it. So you sit down with your social media clients and you're like, you know what, here's the first thing that we're going to do if we're going to start teeing up content for you.
Get a video testimonial and use that. Like, it's the easiest, it's like the lowest hanging fruit. Like, get a video testimonial of your client.
I mean, I know why testimonials work. Tell them why testimonials work.
Because
and you hopefully you have testimonials, and I'm sure you're freaking awesome at what you do, and you're the best kept secret. The thing is you just haven't been getting the success stories of the people that are probably in your business right now and leveraging for your marketing. He's going to tell you how right now.
So really, I mean, like, with all your marketing, there's like 2 obstacles. First one is trying to convince them that you can help them. Second, which is the harder one, is convincing them that they can actually have success this time. So by putting that message out, you're proving that, you know what, you got results, so you know what you're doing. But then if you're putting those different testimonials out there, if I see somebody that's like me or in a situation like I am, and they talk about how they had success, it's like, like maybe I can have success in this program. Because when we think about fitness, like, everyone's failed numerous times with different programs, all that sort of thing. So, I mean, those are always the 2 like hurdles I say you got to get over. Is one, convince them that you can help them. 2, you got to convince them that this time will be different.
Yeah, I remember. I'm glad you bring that up because we often talk about the psychology behind what you're doing. And I remember, I think it was Ryan Dice or no, Perry Belcher that I think I heard this from, when he's just like, the number 1 obstacle for people buying your course is belief in themselves, and especially in the fitness market, because they failed at a minimum. I forgot the statistic I read once. It was like people have failed 5 times on programs before they get to your program. So if you can't demonstrate proof of concept or that it's worked and believability that somebody else, it worked for somebody else, and here's how it could work for you this time, you're dealing with the fact that in their own mind, they're already saying no, and they're not even giving your product a chance to say yes. So,
I think that's actually who I heard it from too. The exact thing. Yeah, when he said that, I was like,
traffic and conversion.
Yeah.
I think it was traffic and conversion
but
that I heard that.
Video testimonial, number 1. Number 2, like, I would shift to video, because the VP of Facebook said earlier this year that he predicts that 90% of all content by 2020 is going to be video. So not everyone's doing it now, but now's a great time to get good at it. Because when everyone's doing it and you're trying to get good at it, well, you're going to look
here's
even worse.
an interesting thing. I was up with Brendan Bouchard this weekend doing some stuff in his mastermind, and he was just like, I agree. You're going to have you're going to have video, and you can have written or image, whatever it is. And he's just like, the whole thing that everyone says is like, hey, split test, see which one works. A/B split test, video or image. Let's go with that. And he's just like, that's awesome. But he's just like, all that's going to tell you is which to show first. After that, still show the other one, because the thing is your audience might just want to be like, well, I'm a reader. So I'm like, I don't want to sit through a video. If I can get a transcript or something, I'm like, I like that even better. Yeah. That don't negate the modality that the person might want to receive it. Just cover all your bases and just look at, especially today with what you do, with the way you target and repixel, you can create a custom audience that you're like, we sent everybody to the video with this. They didn't take that. Now let's send them to image, because maybe that was the modality that they wanted. Yeah. That sounds sophisticated. It's really not. It's a couple steps that someone like Scott can absolutely help you out with. But that's where I think that's what we're going to really be testing. You and I talked about that this afternoon. We're like, let's create multiple versions and just run people through it. And because maybe 50% like the video, but 30% wanted the freaking ad image. Why not just simply set that up, because it's not much work?
Yep, totally.
Okay, so we got. Oh, go ahead.
But if you're going to do the videos, like, so you got video testimonials, but also just do teaching videos. It can just be something simple like, hey, what's up? My name's Scott. I work at the Get Ripped with Vito gym, and today what I'm talking about
is the new facility we're opening up.
Is our 3 favorite ab exercises, or maybe arm exercises. And number 1 is the wine curl, right? So
that's literally going to do that. That's awesome.
So you can just do quick little tidbits like that. That just provides value to them and just shows them you kind of know what you're doing. Give them little tips. Maybe you're really good in the kitchen. Just share like, hey, here's some simple tips to make meal prep easier. So whatever your skill set is, like, just film tiny little videos that just give them. You're basically filming like a blog post. If you're not good at writing, film yourself doing it. If you're good at writing, but those are some easy things just to put out there. Create real quick. I mean, your iPhone is a better video camera than a proper video camera was 5 years ago.
No joke.
And the best thing about it, I mean, most fitness businesses have a limited budget, so it's actually cheaper to get that video in front of a lot more people than it would with that blog post. And there's a bit of collateral branding with it, because the more they see your face, you become familiar. Just like, I mean, I'm sure
it builds your authority. It positions you as an expert, which is one of the biggest hurdles that you're trying to overcome. You're trying to have your market see you as the expert compared to everybody else out there. And here's the thing. Most people aren't doing it. So if you just start doing it more consistently, you are going to show up more than your competition, and then people are going to just start knowing you, your face, your content, your teaching, your authority. It's going to build traction. And I think this leads into something you and I talked about, where they're worried about their reach. And their reach. Let's talk about that.
So we all know that, you know, the organic reach has gone down in posts. Last time I saw
Facebook, we love you, but we know you're messing with the algorithms.
But see, part of it too, like, so here's the thing is, more people are rushing there. So let's say, just because, you know, we're trainers in a previous life, so we're not good at math. Let's say there was 100 pages.
At math.
There's 100 pages.
I'm an
on
entrepreneur.
Facebook.
I know numbers and dollars.
Work with me, Jesus. So there's
don't let your friends get away with that.
100 pages on Facebook, right? But now there's like 1,000 pages. So Facebook's only going to show so many things in your newsfeed. So there's so many more pages, so many more people are on Facebook. It's growing every year. So there's more competition, like, in the fact of just showing up organically. That's number one that people don't think about. They're like, oh, they just want us to pay. But number two, it's content. Like, if all you put on is like a stupid cat meme every day, no one wants to see that. Because it's all based on engagement.
I stopped in 2011 doing that. Why are you still on me about it?
Well, because, you know, it was one too many years.
Yeah, you know. But that's the thing. So, like, that's a really key point. You got 100 pages to 1,000 pages now, and they're being created every single freaking day. So Facebook has to make a decision. As a company, as a business, who do we show? Well, the people that are consistently putting out content, the people that are consistently out there showing up and doing the work. Otherwise, they're like, oh, let's pay for it, or be a value provider so that we can freaking reward you for that because you're building our platform.
Yep.
That's just like, it's not favoritism. It's just they're doing the work to freaking be like, you're contributing, you're doing some work, we're going to throw you some love. That's what it's at. I mean,
and think about what you see, like your own experience on Facebook. Like the posts that you're seeing on there are probably the ones you want.
That's a bomber.
Yeah,
got a bomber. It's all right.
Are the ones you want to see? They're the ones you've interacted with. Like your friend that puts a post up that says like, "Hey guys, I just went like poopy." Like you don't click like or don't do anything.
The ones that people show. Look, I'm at the emergency room. My son's getting stitches, and you're like, awesome post.
Like, great, thanks for adding so much value to my life. So if people aren't engaging in your posts, you're basically showing Facebook, you're like, I don't care about that content. These two over here, these pages I click like, or I commented on. These are the ones I want you to show more of, because they want you to have a good. I mean, if your time on Facebook sucks, if you're getting hit with ads and you're getting shown all these stupid posts, you're gonna go somewhere else.
Yep.
Right? You're gonna go Instagram, but they still own it, but still, you're gonna go to Instagram. They're gonna go. They might go back to Twitter or what.
Nobody's going to Twitter.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Let's be real.
You'd be surprised.
Nah, that company's going down.
Look at the numbers.
I don't know. I think that company's going down. But so this is something I see all the time when I go to check out like my coaches' pages or things like that, and I look and it's a lot of I share a blog, no comment on it, no commentary on it, just like I saw this blog on the 3 ways that the trapezius is keeping you tight when you're working at the office, and it's just like share the video. No. I went to the person's page, and I was just like, you're just you're third party sharing, which is fine. If you're gonna go add your own voice, your own message, your own perspective, your own view to it, because then it makes sense. Because you're like, you know what? I saw somebody posted about the keto diet. Here's what I have to say about it. Now you're putting in your own thoughts, your own expertise, your own authority, as compared to I copied this link. Check this out, and the person has no context for it, and there's no authority building with it. And you're literally like, it doesn't build your business because it's not even going anywhere. It's not leading to a funnel. It's not leading to an offer. It's not doing anything. It's just like, hey, I think this is interesting about the trapezius. And the common person's like, I don't give a rat's ass about the trapezius.
Well, that's the thing. You shared it in hopes of like adding value to them. But if you just share it like, then they're not even going to look at it because they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're not even excited about it. So I'm not even going to look at it either.
Right. See, the thing I'm seeing in like a lot out there is the social media lacks the element of storytelling. Stories are the thing that are going to connect people to you the most. So whatever you're going to go share, whatever the value thing is, do it from the art of like a story. And be like, I have a context, I have an experience with this, I have something that happened in my life with it, and this is why I'm sharing it for you, and this is what it means to you, so that you get value out instead of me just being like, I feel like sharing information. How do we add the element of storytelling?
Well, but if you don't, just before that, if you don't believe that, look at like what was the biggest kind of social media platform that just in the last couple of years?
Snapchat.
Snapchat came out. What's that? That's storytelling. And then what did Instagram do? We got those stories. And then what does Facebook do? It's got those stories on the top now. So it's that thing where it's not so much about, it's about content, but it's just people just sharing stuff and just sharing their day and those little tidbits of it.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I don't know if people want that, well, look at what's growing so fast. The proof's right there.
Yep.
Sometimes we make our own assumptions, like just look at how you react or look at what's happening on those platforms, and it kind of just shows it to you.
Amen. So we got 3 last ones for you here, because these are the ones I wrote down. I wrote
You read it?
down. I'll take your wine from you, and you will be cast out of this house. Now, other thing that I'm seeing out there is just, and this has to hurt your big soul here. I just don't see enough people running ads. It's like they want the organic reach, but at this point, I mean, it's just like marketing was back in the day when you paid for TV commercials, you paid for a spot in a magazine or whatnot. Now, to be seen, you simply got to pay for it. And it's not that you got to go out there and have $1,000 budget, but you got to start throwing $5 a day, $10 a day type thing, and realize that if you've got the right offer and you put some time into that, even if you make, and you and I were talking about even if you make $0, but you got a prospect to a buyer, and then you have the offer on the back end, you're going to start running a freaking profitable business. Yeah. I just don't see enough people getting into ads. What's holding them up, Scotty? You're just not. Are you putting enough content out there to teach the tribe what got to be happening?
I think it's a few things. I think part of it is just people being unsure. They're like, I don't know what I should put out there. But I think that's the wrong way to think of it, because a lot of people are like, I tried it and it didn't work. Well, it's like, again, if we want to relate it back to gym owners, like that would be like saying, yeah, I was watching the Olympics and I saw them do this snatch exercise, so I went and tried it with a couple of plates on each side, and it didn't work.
Couldn't get it done, and I gave up on it.
Yeah, I tried it once and it just didn't work.
Yep.
So it's the same
thing.
Like,
as a person that exercises, that comes into your gym, exercises, doesn't get it right, and is just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to come back, and they quit. As compared to, like, that's how people are in our industry with marketing. So
I mean, here's like kind of just some truth with this is there goes my wine. The equivalent of what you say, like if you go and try you try an ad, you try a campaign for a week, you're like, I spent $50 and I didn't make 300. What the hell's going on? That's the equivalent. That is the equivalent of a client coming in to you and saying, look I exercised, I followed your diet for 7 days, and I'm not 26 pounds down. This sucks. It doesn't work.
Let that analogy sit there, right there. That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
it's a good analogy. Do you know, along those lines, like, and here's like fact. If you're running your ads and you can get people in and you break even $0, you're running great ads. I remember we were just sharing. We were up with Brendan Bouchard. And he's just like, remember I was telling you about something, like somebody asked him, hey, what do you know that we don't know? Which, by the way, write that question down, because anytime you're working with a mentor or you're working with somebody like that, and they're like, what question, what do you want me to work on with you? And you just say, what do you know that I don't know? They'll be like, good question. It was a freaking brilliant question. And here's what he said. He's just like, you guys don't know the millions of dollars I lose in ads. He's like, you see all my winning stuff, but you don't see the millions of dollars that we spend to find the right offer, to find the right funnel. That we were all like, damn, that's it.
And I think, you hear people always say, I'm crushing it with ads and Facebook ads and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, the reality is, like, some people are doing well, but they've had numerous failures and that sort of thing. And I mean, I remember I was talking to another client. He's like, I don't like. This other business is crushing it. Like, I see him post all the time on his personal page, like, yep, just ran another campaign, got like 200 new leads in, and he's saying that like every few weeks. So he's getting a couple hundred leads in every 2 weeks, so like 400-500 leads every month.
I would take that like a smackdown.
So like, I'm wondering, what is he doing wrong that he doesn't have 16 locations after a year?
Right.
So sometimes you got to look at like
clothes and
what people are saying isn't always the truth, and the reality is, like we're saying, like if you can break even on the front end, like you should be okay with that. Like that is, you're doing
amazing.
A good job.
You're doing amazing if you can break even on
because
the front end.
If you're doing a good job as a trainer, which if you're on here, you follow Vito.
As a business owner as well.
You're probably doing a great job, and you're probably keeping people on for more than a month or two. Like your retention is 12 months, 24 months. that's where you make all the money. You just broke even on the front, but now if you're charging $200 a month, you keep them around for 15 months. Well, there's $3,000. You made $3,000 off that.
That's right.
And that's kind of what people forget about. So it's just that front end, just
especially
because
your offer is continuity. Your offer is typically a membership, so you might not make it month 1, but by month 2, you're starting to now make the money. And if you can keep them 6 months, a year, whatever it is, that's where your real money is, not that first time just to get them in. Because there's a big barrier for the person to be like, especially in the fitness world, if you price them out too high, they're like, man, it's free online.
Yep.
Tough thing.
And we're selling a relationship. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're selling a relationship because you want them to stick around with you for a long time. And I mean, I use this all the time in my talks. Is if we look at how we actually build relationships in the real world, is you don't like walk in and be like, "What's up?
Okay.
What's your name? Want to go back to my room?" Like no, it's not how you do it.
Are we talking college?
Yeah. Well, it's not how you found your wife, right? It's not how you found a long-term relationship.
Well, let's just say no, not at all. But let's bring this home with what I think is one of the biggest missing pieces when people are out there running their running their marketing, especially social media and all that kind of stuff. Well, hell, any marketing. But you got your ad, you made your offer. Maybe somebody came in on the lead or whatnot, or they opted in for whatever. No follow through. There's no follow up. It was like the one and done, and then I'm out.
Yep.
And to your point, everything's a relationship. So if everything's a relationship, you can't assume the person's going to just be like, I met you once and now I'm ready to marry you. We try to expect the person to marry us right out of the gate, and then we go on one date and we leave them out to dry. How many times have you gone on a date and then you don't get back with the person and they're like, I'm thrilled to freaking hang out with you now? You got to work. You follow up, whether it's email, retargeting, different things like that. That's the thing. How do you fix that?
Well, there's a number of different ways. Like one of the quickest fixes typically for people that are having a hard time converting on those like front end offers is not waiting till the last day of the promotion. Like if it's a 21 day, don't ask them to buy on day 21. Have something in place. Now, and there's no perfect system, but a system is better than no system because most people, like I said, they're having a hard time with their conversions. I'm like, well, when's the first time you try to sell them? They're like, on the Friday the program ends. I'm like, all right, well, why don't we add at least one more in there, maybe 2, and just kind of incentivize them to sign up there. But also, it's just building that relationship.
I would do at least 3 days of making the offer, friends. At least 3 days of making the offer, and don't forget on the last day to definitely do like a, hey, this is the final day. You got 12 hours, last call type thing, because people respond to urgency and deadlines. Without that, you're hoping that they're gonna freaking get in there. Bomber number 2 coming through.
And also like the people that come in like that's opt in or whatever, or they become a lead, they don't take you up on that first offer. Like don't forget about them because most of us forget about them. And when you don't end up kind of following up with them and providing more value and just convincing them that maybe you're the right person, it's literally like you're like, hey, do you want to work out? Do you want to help you change your life? No, okay. And you just move on to the next person. Like that person did put up their hand. They were interested in actually getting in shape, but you know what? Maybe they failed so many times. They have such low self-belief that it's just going to take you a little bit longer. But if you're not following up,
or the offer was wrong. It was a body transformation program. The person's like, I got on your list, but I don't need body transformation. They're like, I'm dealing with an injury, and they needed rehab, or they needed sports athletics. That's why you got to just be like, create a series of content, follow-up, etc. And if the person doesn't take that offer, present the new offer and be like, hey, maybe you are struggling with a bad back as something to be there. And the person comes on and be like, oh, bad back. That was my problem. And then they start engaging with that. You need to start being able to have multiple offers. And that means you got to kind of really know your tribe, know your avatar, know who's coming through your doors and things like that. We're going to save that for maybe another episode when I can have Scotty back on here and whatnot. Anything else, any last minute stuff that you tagged them up with on that? Yeah, otherwise, that's a ton of social media stuff right there. I hope you took good notes on that.
But here's what I would say before you run, and it's not necessarily even just Facebook or social media marketing. Before you run any kind of marketing campaign, and this was kind of part of my talk that I just gave, was before you open up your ads manager or wherever you're going to write this promotion, is sit down first with a piece of paper and actually just map out like who you're talking to, because that's when you're going to get the ideas. Typically, if you just open up ads manager to write your ad, you're going to just go, what am I going to talk about? let me just
Well,
go with what I
that begs
remember.
to ask the question. Don't just sit down and think about what you want to sell. Think about what they need. Get in the mind of your avatar or your typical gym member, your prospect, whatever it is. If that's you don't think about avatar, but like, what are they going through? What are they struggling with? What do they need you to say? You've been struggling with this for a while, and I got something for you. That's the difference.
Because they're going to speak to them and they're going to say like, oh
That's
my
right.
gosh, that person gets me. They understand me. Not like, yeah, I want to lose weight and get toned and have some more energy.
Right.
You're like, yeah, great, that's very generic, but it's like you're talking to a stressed out, a mom who's put like her fitness on the back burner because she was focused on her family, her career,
Mm-hmm.
That speaks more towards her than the like, hey, you mom, you want to lose weight?
That's it.
Come here.
That's it.
So
That's it.
if you just think about
Personalize, get specific, get in their heads, seek to understand above all things. So we got to wrap this baby up because I know you guys have been hanging. I know it's a Friday night. Hopefully you're going to go out, take your people on a date night, do some extra personal, professional development, whatever you need to do to enjoy. By all means, have
You're
a glass
taking me on
of
a date
wine. By all means, have a glass of wine. Cheers, man. Hey, where can they find out more about you if they want to like follow you and whatnot?
ScottRawcliffe.com. So it's how you spell my last name is like raw, like in raw food, and then cliff, like a little mountain with an E on the end.
Nice. All right, ScottRawcliffe.com. You can also find them at Facebook. You can find over us right here on this page, obviously over VitoLaFata.com. If you need any help with social media, we got our social media content generator out there. Grab that, but otherwise, stay tuned. We've always got great episodes coming your way. So for tonight, peace. Cheers. What's that?
You guys
Yeah.
should love me.
Hit done.